All right. All right, and we're live. Hey guys, it's Keith with Train by Tex, and got the rest of the crew here. We've also got three special guests. Some the guys we brought to Vision, they're all first timers. So we're going to let Bryn do some introductions and introducing our other special guests we've got today.
All right, thanks, Keith. Thank you guys for joining us. Real quick, I know we've talked about this already, but you guys haven't seen the folks that were able to make it out to Vision with us. So we're going to do a quick introduction and kind of explain how we got to where we're at. But tonight we have the three first-timers for Vision, as Keith just mentioned. But these are the gentlemen that we were fortunate enough to have our hand in helping to get there. And we thought it would be cool to have them share their experience for attending a national event for the first time. Real quick, so the introduction is, if we have George Minshew here, if you don't mind, wave, George. He's there in the plaid shirt. George Minshew with AES Wave. George and Carlos Minshew were approached by Jim Morton. Jim Morton's a very good friend of ours. He wanted to help. He was liking what Train by Tex was doing. He wanted to help us in some way. So he told George and Carlos that he wanted to buy a picoscope set so that we could do, and he wanted to donate it to us so that we could somehow take that and raise some money to help us do, pay for our operating expenses and do what we do, which is hopefully just basically share our experience and promote the betterment of the industry. But when Jim reached out to George and Carlos, they said they wanted to do it themselves. So they were kind enough to donate a picoscope set that we were able to use to raise some money. And with that, we were able to bring Nolan out. Nolan, if you raise your hand so we can see, hey, there's Nolan. And there's a couple others. Obviously, we have three people we were fortunate enough to have our hand in helping attend there. The Auto Care Alliance, the Midwest Auto Care Alliance, last year they donated a scholarship to ASAPA for them to give away during their Super Saturday event. And we were able to find Trey. Trey's a former or a current enrolled automotive post-secondary student, also working full-time for Pete's Garage, Pete Rudloff at Pete's Garage. Trey, if you don't mind raising your hand. There. Say hello.
Hey, Trey.
Hi.
But the guys at ASAPA for a Super Saturday event asked us if we wouldn't mind help to raise money so that Trey wouldn't have to, pay for the plane, hotel, and stuff like that. So at the ASAPA Super Saturday event, we did just that. We had a booth and we helped to collect some money, and we were able to collect $798 on that day. And on top of that, Joe from the Super Saturday event also donated a airfare. So that's how we were able to get Trey involved. And thank you so much for the Midwest Auto Care Alliance and Joe and David Wagner at the Super Saturday event for allowing us to be a part of that. And then finally, with the money that we raised with a Pico kit, what I should say is during the time in one of our live streams, we were talking about our plans to help one individual attend Vision at no cost. Some of our friends, Mike Oden, Bruce Oliver, decided they wanted to help with a second. So Bruce Oliver paid for the Vision registration, and Mike Oden paid for the hotel expenses, and we paid for the airfare and some spending money for Andres. Andres, if you don't mind, say hello. And that's it. So tonight really is about these gentlemen, Trey, Nolan, and Andres. We just wanted them to share their experience attending Vision, and we're going to obviously interact with them. And if you guys have any questions throughout it, please don't hesitate to do so. George, did you want to say anything, or you want these guys just to run with their...
Yeah, I'm interested in hearing their story to find out what it was like for them to go to Vision. Vision is an exciting place, and historically it has a lot of meaning for the industry, for lots of reasons. So it's pretty exciting to know that this was your first big event, and looking forward to the story, Brent.
Cool.
Damn, that's good.
All right, Trey, share with us your experience, buddy. How did you, leading up to the event? I know Pete worked with you and helped. You guys worked together to choose some classes, and I know Pete was originally going to go with you, but something came up and he wasn't able to go. But you had some friendly faces from your area there, David Wagner, being able to kind of hang with you while you're there. So, what were your thoughts, kind of leading into this?
I was excited for it. I was familiar with Dave, and I knew I'd be going out with him and that he'd be guiding me through a lot of it. Pete prepared me for it and helped me pick through classes. Told me people he was familiar with. Leading up to it, I'm not sure. I was excited to go out. The only thing comparable I've been to, he sends me to as many the local little small training events as he can. And the biggest thing I'd ever been to was Super Saturday before.
Right, where we met you, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Going to this was pretty wild. It was, yeah.
Go on.
No, I'm sorry. I'm waiting on you now.
Oh, okay. Now that you've been to the big daddy of the events, so would you do it again on your own dime?
Yeah, I would. Once I'm a little bit more independent in the shop, I'm still operating as an apprentice. I'm still kind of Pete point and shoot, and he'll give me some problems to handle on my own, and I'll work through them, and he'll supervise or see where I find myself, and I'll set up lab scopes and stuff for him. But right now I'm still under a lot of instruction. But once I'm past that, I'm less independent in the shop. I'm out of my education at Del Tech. I'm done through with that. I'll definitely be back there.
Sweet. So, real quick, if we wouldn't mind, maybe pausing and just kind of sharing your experience, like your background. I think we talked about it at Super Saturday, and talking to you, you were an obvious choice for us. We had several enrolled students that were applying for this position, and our conversation with you, you stuck out. So, we know the story, but if you wouldn't mind sharing it with everybody else, very, very similar to a lot of technicians, I think, but it's cool, still cool to hear. So if you wouldn't mind giving us a little backstory.
All right. I've been into cars since before I can remember. When I was a kid, my grandfather had a 1968 Cadillac convertible DeVille, and it ran so bad that when he'd stand on it on the blue route and the secondaries would open, it would crop dust 4 lanes white.
Nice.
And ever since then, as a kid, I was probably 4 or 5, I was hooked. And I caught the car bug. Later on, he went and got Parkinson's, and I ended up with that car now, which I just finally got a T-tag on.
Oh my goodness, you have that 68 Cadillac right now.
Yeah, it's
That's
a mess.
awesome. That's awesome.
But so I've had the car bug since I was a kid. I've been playing around with taking stuff apart since as long as I can remember, and trying to play with cars since as long as I could. I own a 1980s Volvo 240, an 88 240 with 250,000 miles on it that I love to death.
Nice.
And
Much respect.
No comment.
yeah, but it's a mixed bag. Polarizing vehicle.
When you have cars like that, you have no choice but to be a mechanic.
That's right.
All right, go on, buddy. I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, you're fine. So, other than that, I've grown up being into cars. I played with them as much as I could. I had some friends in high school that were into it, but not a whole bunch of people around me. So I was glad to get in the automotive program at Del Tech and surrounded with more people like me, more people that have been playing with stuff since they were kids, and that's what they do for fun. So, before Pete, I worked for my senior project in high school. I was an apprentice tech at a small family-owned used car dealer out in West Grove, PA, called Compact Cars. Kind of very family operation, very kind of like the good old boys type shop, if you will. The fellow that owns it's named Radar, and he was an air-cooled mechanic back in the 60s. And he's got Porsche 356s and all kinds of Beetles and stuff tucked away. So it was a little patch of heaven for me to be able to hang out. And he was flipping stuff from dealer wholesaler auctions and Toyota Echoes and Camrys and stuff like that during the day. But afterwards, I'd hang out and he'd start digging into restoration projects and the older stuff that I'm interested in as well, which was really neat for me to be involved with that. And then shortly after that, I was lucky enough to meet Pete and met him. He, at the time, I was thinking about going to UTI, and he talked to me about my options. And then I think it was about 3 weeks later, he called me asking if I wanted to come in for an interview and possibly apprentice for him. And then ever since then, I've been kind of under his wing as far as where I'm going.
That's a good shop to start in, man. Very cool. So you're excited to go to Vision. Pete and you guys worked on some classes. So you get there. Kind of walk us through your experience.
All right. Well, my experience probably started in the airport. As far as a large part of my experience, I really enjoyed being able to network and meet all the people that I did. I knew Dave Wagner from beforehand and was able to kind of ride under his wing and figure out what I was doing, where I was going, the lay of the land. But I met a whole bunch of people from my area in PA, and I was able to geek on with that in the airport and have a little group to run around with, which I enjoyed. And they were able to point and tell me where to be, everything else. So I got there Thursday morning. Somehow I didn't end up registered in a class, but one of them pointed me to Scott Schotten engine mechanical diag with electronic equipment class, which I loved. In-depth case studies and everything else. I was able to follow him through most of it, even being an apprentice. I really, really enjoyed him. But my favorite class out of the experience was Diag 101 with Jim Wilson. I thought that was geared perfect for exactly where I am. He even went through, I think about the first 40 minutes or so of the class was starting like, so you're out of tech school, you want to build a Diag toolbox. And he went through for 45 minutes or so and talked about price ranges and how you can work up and how you should start building a Diag toolbox. And then I just really enjoyed his class. I thought it was really well prepared for the level I'm at and what I'm capable of right now. It was really geared towards my level.
Sweet. So 2 of your favorite classes there. Nice.
Now, do you feel like you were served well by Vision? Like you got a lot out of it?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the people. Everyone was very friendly. I was able to meet a bunch of people I enjoyed interacting with. They kept me well fed. I have no complaints. I enjoyed the whole trip. It was amazing.
Bro, really appreciate you sharing that with us. Real quick before we move on to Nolan here, one of the big conversations, big topics in the industry is attracting and acquiring talent, the talent that this industry needs. And obviously, you being a young man just getting into it, we thought one of the things that I thought about, which we were talking about before we went live, is being able to attend an event like this so early in your career and just seeing what professionals should look like and what serious career-minded people should look like. That was that's what I thought. I was excited for you to be able to see that. So what are your thoughts with regard to did that do that for you? I guess I should say, being able to be there. And
yeah, I'm very glad I was able to be there early in my career. I'm glad I was able to see what's out there and everything. Because, it's awesome to plant that seed. It gives me something to look forward to once I'm more independent in the shop, going back, working towards that. Seeing what's capable. Because the most I play with, like I'll set up Pete's lab scope for him when he pulls relative compression and everything else, and he'll explain and walk through and teach me stuff. But I'm an apprentice tech. I follow orders right now, and
I'm really jealous of you. I wish I had someone like that to lead the way for me, and then also having that experience that young in your career, I think is just awesome. It's an outstanding.
No, it is, but it's awesome for me to see, because before Super Saturday, I didn't know what a lab scope was.
Yeah,
really.
But yeah, I had no idea that was part of. I didn't know that there was like that non-intrusive diagnostic capability.
I remember the first shop that I worked at that had a scope. They had the big machine, and he gave me a book and it said it had it on it written oscilloscope, and it literally took me a year to figure out how to pronounce oscilloscope. So, so, yeah, I was curious about that because, so many technicians don't know that these events even happen. I mean, as technicians, I think we can appreciate what we do, but sometimes it's not always obvious that others don't appreciate it. So to have an event that's for us, to me is special, and especially it's special to be able to help someone so early in their career just know that these things are out there. And like Brian said, to be able to work with Pete's early on in your career is great. You're doing it right, going to tech school, and we look forward to your long and prosperous career. Talking to Pete, I'll tell you, he may not, how people don't, they don't compliment you always face to face, but Pete mentioned Chip, which I think it was a partner with Pete originally when Pete's Garage opened, but Chip and Pete worked together. Chip ended up moving down south of Florida, and he's currently working with Gary Keys at E&M Motors. But Pete always said multiple times, I think he said that Chip was, if not one of the best, he was the best that he'd ever worked with technician-wise. And he said that Trey reminded him a lot of Chip, and that he felt like Trey is going to be an amazing technician. So good to have you on, Trey. Thank you again so much for joining us. If you have any last-minute words, feel free, but we're going to move on to Nolan as soon as
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. Thank you so much for sending me out there. I've got a couple things I still want to try to get on the weekends that I learned out there, and see if I can get weekend time, play with Pete's LabScope a little bit, and see what I can start figuring out. But yeah, no, it was an amazing experience.
Sweet.
Awesome.
Listen,
Thanks.
guys, I didn't mean to run that. You guys have any questions, feel free to jump in.
Take the pressure off of me. I'm good.
I think you nailed it. That's awesome.
But one thing I did want to say is, like, a lot of sometimes these trainings, if you do it right, like a lot of them, they teach you how to learn, which is great. And then sometimes taking the right class. My class in particular that actually changed my career was 2 years ago when I took George's class, two of George's classes at Ken, and they literally changed my life. And it was a big portion of your class, George. That was, you had to learn how to learn, and I think that's what a lot of these things are for.
Yeah, George, a master.
Yeah.
You guys, I really appreciate that, and I'm glad that was helpful.
Oh yeah.
And just a little side note, that class, try to base it on my experience that I went through as an auto tech and the experience I've had with everyone, and it's really great to know that it helped.
Oh yeah, it does. So again, thanks. Sorry, try to take over that there.
No.
Yeah, one of the great values of automotive repair is you get to go to work every day and practice your thinking and learning and diagnostic skills. And you can't forget to think about it that way. You've got to think about the investment you're making in yourself. And you start doing that, you live and breathe to learn and teach yourself how to be a better learner. Time goes by and you'll be amazed at what you can accomplish. And, I'd like to say if we just invest a small amount of time, let me say it this way, we invest so much time in studying the technology of the correction of that time in our own learning. It could be amazing what you could accomplish. So thank you for your input on that.
I hear that from just about everybody that attends your class. So I keep looking forward to being able to attend those myself. Somehow I've never been able to make them, but I hear that from everybody that attends them. But you apply that thought process, teaching people how to learn. You apply that in just about everything in your life, right?
Yeah, I try. Yes. And man, if I could have, if I love it when I get to talk to students and whatever, and just awarenesses. It's about developing awarenesses, behaviors, and to listen to the enthusiasm of the young guys, just amazing. And with all the influence that they have with everybody, like in the old online communities, going to these events, the learning curve is just absolutely amazing today. Just watching you guys and listening to what all you're doing, it's just absolutely amazing. It's exciting. This is all very exciting. And so, yeah, I'll quit talking.
No, we love anytime you want to chime in, please do so. We're fortunate to have you with us tonight. Next, we're going to have Nolan kind of share his experience. Nolan, like I said earlier, Jim, thanks to Jim Morton, George Minshew, and Carlos Minshew, we were able to raise some money. And with that money, we wanted to. These events, by the way, we're all about everything that's going to better you, whether it's local training, whether it's watching a good quality diagnostic YouTube video, reading articles, whatever it is, we're all about it. But there's something special about these events, and we all realize it because we've been to them. And we're also aware that not everybody's in a position to go, or in a lot of cases, they don't really get the value until they can go. So really, I got to say, and I've said to individuals, but I don't know if I've said publicly, being able to help others to participate in events like this is the thing that I'm one of the most proud of professionally. So thank you, George and Jim and Carlos, for helping us to kind of getting that rolling, getting that going. And we really do appreciate the opportunity to be able to do what we were able to do. And Nolan was the gentleman that was able, that won the full ride. So that was the trip, the registration, the airfare and hotel and all of that. So we had, I don't know, guys, what do you think? 70 something people?
Yeah, I think it was 74 people.
Yeah, it was upwards of 70. Yeah.
That's not enough if you think about it. For a trip like this, we should have had a lot more, but doesn't sound like a lot, but to go through 70 different stories, because Chris Martino, probably more than anybody, we encourage people to write their stories, tell us their stories, sell us on why they wanted to come. And Nolan had a great story. We all kind of read them and chose a couple each, and Nolan was at the top of the list for almost all of us. So Nolan's our guy. With that, Nolan, kind of walk us through winning the scholarship and leading up, getting prepared for it, and your actual time out there, please.
Well, man, it's still kind of a shock. I mean, from when you guys called me and to going out there and learning everything. I mean, the whole thing was just a shock. It's crazy. I didn't even know these things existed. So just that alone was great.
Didn't I hear that your girlfriend or wife say that she thought it was fake? There's no way that's happening.
Scam. So the whole time she's like, how do you know these guys? Are they going to kidnap you?
Come stay in a room with us.
All right.
I think what's big for everyone to pay attention to is that Nolan, you're a dealership tech, correct?
Yeah, I'm a Toyota dealership.
That's the big thing that I want to hear is the perspective from a dealership tech who's received predominantly dealer or manufacturer produced training. What was it like at Vision? Looking at it from that perspective, versus most of us are aftermarket guys. There's the majority of our career in aftermarket, so we're not really familiar with manufacturer training. At least I'm not myself.
Yeah, I mean, some of us have had that opportunity, but I agree with Keith wholeheartedly. But the other thing is I want to give you credit for looking outside of that world. So often dealer techs, they don't understand what happens in the aftermarket. So kudos to you for recognizing that, which should we give kudos? Who was it? Somebody told you about that. Who was it that told you about that?
It was PJ.
Yeah, it was PJ.
PJ Walter, yeah.
Yep. Kudos to PJ for spreading the word. But you recognize the value in looking outward past dealership training. But
now I got a question for you. Oh, I'm sorry. No, I wanted to know because I've spoken to a lot of dealer type guys, and they don't really see the point in aftermarket training. Mm-hmm. And did you face that? Did you face that in your dealership, like you were wasting your time and stuff like that?
Definitely, yeah. Especially right when I came back, a lot of people were asking me why I even went to that thing, and I'm like, man, if you would have gone, you would understand, you would get it. There's so much that you could learn, especially from independent guys, because I have a lot of respect for what you guys have to go through. I mean, you guys have to work on everything, and just seeing like the whole independent world kind of come together and like push each other to train and get better at what you do, just out of necessity. You know, it's a lot right there.
Mhm. Now, did seeing these type of classes, these type of techs all getting together, did it affect your thought process probably in diagnosing vehicles and how you approach things? Did it change anything for you?
So some of the classes I took kind of helped shape my diagnostic approach, I would say. Like it helped me focus it a little bit more. And that was kind of the goal that I had going into it and picking some of the classes that I picked. Like I picked one of them was Jim Wilson's, which I think Trey went to, and then the other one was Jim Morton's class. That one really kind of did a nice job of like tying everything together right at the end.
Nice. Which class did he teach?
Who, Jim Morton?
Jim Morton. That was the Sherlock Holmes class.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, he called it it's probably similar to what he did for us. Called it a diagnostic smorgasbord.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, sorry.
But yeah, I mean, I got a lot out of it, and I kind of have the training bug now. Like there was a training event out here, ATE, that I didn't get a chance to go to, but someone introduced me to Sandra from ATG,
Mm-hmm.
and I just picked up a few books from her already, or just now. So
Sweet.
I mean, I'm just gonna keep going with this, and just kind of learn as much as I possibly can, and apply everything that I possibly can to, to my world.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, how are you going to pass that information along? That was part of the deal too.
So yeah, definitely. So I actually just got a job as a team leader at another Toyota dealership. So I have guys that are under me that I'm already pushing them to go seek out training and kind of showing them some of the stuff that I learned from Vision. So I mean, I have direct influence on them now, and hopefully we can show the other teams in our shop that, there's not just one way to do it, just following factory procedures or anything like that. There's other ways of thinking outside the box to solve these issues.
Yeah, don't test with known good module.
Yeah, replace no part.
That's the one good thing that we have, is we have a whole lot full of known good parts in cars,
Parts department full of known good.
Yeah. Just don't tell me you plug it in.
Yeah, there's a lot of open boxes in the parts department, is what you're saying.
Outside of the classes, what were some of the big takeaways for you for the trip, you think?
Oh man, just meeting all you guys and meeting a bunch of different people. It was, I wouldn't say overwhelming, but it was a lot, because there's just so many people to meet and so many faces and so many names that, and these are people I'm gonna know for the rest of my life.
That's cool.
Now I have more resources too. If I, like, say I have something roll into the shop that's I'm not familiar with, like a Cadillac Seville or something like that.
Yeah.
That's
isn't it incredible to, I mean, I don't know about you, but like most of us, I think, feel the same way, around us in our small little world. We're different. Like, not most of the technicians that we go to the local training classes they're not quite as career minded. So, for me, going to these events and meeting other people that are like just like me or even more driven than me is what's so refreshing. It's,
absolutely. Even if I didn't learn anything, I think just the networking experience while you're there it's very refreshing. It restores the passion to do what we do, and that's one of the main things I look forward to every event that we go to.
George, you've been around a long time. Is this refreshing for you?
It always is. I mean, just to see how things have been developed. So, even though I've been doing this for a lot of years, every year gets to be a little bit more exciting, especially with younger folks coming in and see their enthusiasm. And it's also fun watching the difference in the learning curve. And with the great level of networking today, it's so much easier to learn to a level. You still have to get in there and do it yourself, but to see what's going on is just absolutely amazing. I'm enjoying this conversation very much as well.
Cool.
You know, just it's hard to believe that the industry has come along this far, right, Keith? I think you share a very similar experience to me. You've been around for a little while.
Yeah, certainly have. Probably longer than I'd like to admit.
Well, you're not great. What's up with that?
There's a few there, here and here and here, and there's a couple up there.
Okay.
Wear the hat.
Well,
yeah.
You know, to touch on that, George, you know, you've been on Carm's show several times, and just talking to you in person, it's clear that you're excited, and you always, every time you talk about what's going on and the challenges that we have, you use the word excited, and so it's refreshing that, like, your positive take, like, it's not a challenge, it's an exciting time that we can. You were on the show recently with Scott Brown and Matt Fonslow and Justin Morgan, and you said something today. That's Carm Capriato's Remarkable Results podcast. If you haven't watched the show, please do so. But George said they were talking about a lot of very interesting, important industry topics, and I can't remember exactly what you said. It was the perfect opportunity to what's the word? Not reinvent ourselves, but something like that. It was like give ourselves, you know, show everybody who we are. Like,
oh yeah.
It was a perfect time to do that, and it's kind of.
It is. I mean, this is it. One of the things that made me make that comment is when I sit back and I just watch how everything's blossomed, and I look at the amount of talent and dedication. I mean, look at the dedication that you guys show. You're perfect examples of it. And it's, for me, it's just how do we celebrate that? And part of it is, you know, you guys did this scholarship, and you got new people involved. You know, you set a standard. All these people go to training. They're dedicating their lives to becoming good at what they do. Something that's so important to the fundamental fabric of society, and it keeps getting more intense every year. Levels just hard to believe 30 years ago. We need to celebrate what we've accomplished. And again, when I sit back and watch everybody and look at the tools and look at what everyone's doing, it's just absolutely amazing. And so, you know, how do we describe to the world the dedication that you guys have done? And, you know, for someone like myself, this example, I've got a high school education, similar to Trey's experience. And I started work on cars right out of high school. And so I got to grow with the technology, you know, for the young folks who are just have to dive right into the depths of what it's like today. It's absolutely amazing. And you got to love what you're doing. And then again, here we got this whole community of people who live and breathe this every day. They make the investment. They don't wait for their employer. And this, I don't mean this as a negative. They don't wait for their employer to pay their way to training. They find there. And it's great that you guys are helping people get there. And, you know, one of the things to remind the young folks is you invest in yourself. It's not about your boss. It's not about your school teachers. It's about you. And you invest in yourself, and it will pay off in the end. So it's all exciting. You know, when we were at Auto Mechanica, man, it was fun watching you were out there, Brent. We got to touch base. It was fun. It was exciting watching this whole new generation, because to me, you know, you're a new generation, and it was to see your enthusiasm for everything automotive, you know, all of you guys. So
thank you.
I loved it. It's thrilling. You know, I dedicated my life to it's lots of time, days and nights for years. So for me, it's kind of personal to see it continue to blossom.
Nice.
So that's why I get so excited about it.
That's cool. Well, we appreciate it. You know.
Yes, we do. Okay. So now, Andre, without the beard. Hold on. Clear it up. Is it Andre or how's it go, Brent?
Andres.
Oh, Jesus.
Is that...
Chill. Chill.
Come on, come on. I'm not gonna say it until he gives me the thumbs up. I'm all right. I'm doing all right.
What's your name?
Yeah.
Real quick. So when we were talking about picking people from their stories, we didn't. By the way, when we chose Nolan, we asked everybody that applied. We didn't want their names. All we wanted was, I think, the phone number, because we were going to call them live. So we didn't want anybody. We didn't want anybody in our group to be swayed by knowing someone. But when we were done, when we were announcing that we were going to do that, like I said earlier, Mike Oden and Bruce Oliver, I guess, felt inspired, which we really appreciate, and they decided they wanted to help us send somebody else. So that's where Andres comes in. So a big thank you to Mike Oden and Bruce Oliver for their part there. But and with Andres, we wanted to handpick somebody and not ask for people to send us their story. We wanted to kind of pay attention to our inner circle, so to speak. And nobody was sticking out at us. So Richard Falco is one of our members, teaches full-time for CTI. So he sees hundreds of technicians a year. That's way under number. He's hundreds, lots and lots and lots of technicians.
A week.
A week. There you go. So we thought, he sees people dedicated to training every day, and we kind of gave him the ball and said, we want you to choose someone. So Andres attends Richard Falco's classes down in South Florida, right?
Right.
Yeah. And Richard Falco, on a live stream, told Andres about the fact that he was attending Vision. So that's Andres. Go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, honestly, Vision was like amazing. Like the people there, the trainers there, it's just, man, the experience was just awesome. Like I was like blown away, honestly. Like there are a lot of things there. It's like I don't use in the field like normally. I have other techniques, but just opened a whole new world for me. Honestly, it was just amazing. And for anybody who wants to, learn anything, that's the place. Honestly, that's it.
I use the term career changing. Like, would you guys agree that it's a career changing event? Would you think?
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Honestly, yeah, it's helped me a lot, honestly.
But most importantly, how was the snow?
Yeah, have you seen snow before down there? Yeah.
It was awesome.
We were freaking out about every lake that was frozen over. Like and then driving in Sunday morning to not being able to see the roads for the snow. That was pretty wild.
You should have seen Brand's jacket he was wearing. It was like a 10-year-old jacket. The smallest, most ridiculous looking overcoat. It was ridiculous, but oh well. Sorry.
It was
back on the serious stuff. Sorry, Andre.
So talk us through. Let's go to the beginning. You're sitting in class. Did you have any idea that Richard Falco was going to announce that in class?
No, man. Honestly, it's caught me by surprise. But I guess Mario was throwing some hints out there. But
they just wanted to make sure you showed up, right? I'm sure Mario was just trying to make sure you showed up, right?
Yeah, probably.
But you go every week. But this week, Richard was freaking out because you're normally there early, but you came in like right on time or something. So
yeah, probably at the shop still. I had to do a couple things more and stay a little bit after. So yeah, pretty good. I'm glad I went. Honestly, I was gonna go take care of something with my daughter, but I went.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So when you what kind of classes did you take? Like, what did you want? Like, what was your thing? What were you going for?
Like, I did the advanced hybrid batteries.
Mm-hmm.
That was good. I like electrical stuff, I like the electronics. hopefully more of full electric vehicles and stuff like that. Stuff that are on like Teslas and stuff like that. All this advanced technology would like to. I mean, I'm fascinated by all that stuff. I don't know if you guys are, but I think it's pretty awesome.
It's the way of the future, and we have to keep up with it all. So it's important that we go to these events to learn them.
So too.
Engineering behind hybrids and electric vehicles to me is amazing. So I'm right there.
Yeah.
So I know before you went, we warned everybody that you better rest up before you go because you're gonna be a zombie when you come back on Sunday. Was that true? Was that true for about all of you?
Yeah.
Definitely.
Most of the crowd got sick, I heard, but I was okay.
I got
Whose fault was
crazy
that?
sick.
Why did everybody get sick?
Sorry, that's me.
Well, we get a little too close, I guess.
I'm a big hugger. Just saying.
Well, when you're in like 16 people, you have like 28 people in a 16 pack. It was like every time we got out, we heard like the circus music.
Yeah, that was fun.
A big shout out to Richard Falco for making 500 miles that day.
Oh God!
Like 10 different trips to the airport to pick everybody up.
Monster.
So cool. What other classes did you take, Andres?
I also took a Seth's class, the BMW Common Issues.
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty good, honestly. Seth. I also took his class in Miami. And Aventura also, I like the Beamers, they're pretty high tech, so. Other class. I also took the Jim Morton class. That one was like mind blowing, honestly. That was amazing. I really liked his class. I wish I could have had more time in class, but it was just such a brief moment that we had with him, in my opinion.
Well, he's like my opinion of Jim is when you're in his class, the confidence and the experience just sweats from him, and you feel like you're in the presence of like an automotive god. That's the way it feels. This class.
So true. Catches me by surprise in the way he teaches.
And his enthusiasm, second to none.
Yes.
He's such a good person too. He's an awesome guy.
Awesome. Thank you guys, man. That was awesome. You guys are awesome. All of you guys. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you guys for having me there. Honestly, thank you, Mike.
What's that?
I was thanking Bruce and Mike also, and Richard also, obviously. Thank you guys.
How did you find the networking, like the hanging out, the stuff after class?
Oh man, that's also my funny, of course, but mind blowing. Also, you guys have a lot of knowledge, and in the people I've met, and leading me all to the right places. It's awesome, really good.
It's a career vacation.
Now, same question as pretty much everybody else. Next year, if you had to pay your own way, you going back?
Definitely.
I would say, Vision is amazing, but there's a lot of events. I mean, there's every other year, WorldPAC does their event. It's amazing. I don't want to leave anybody out, but obviously, Nolan, you're in the ATE. We want to see you at Vision because we want to hang out. But if you make it to an event, especially a multi-day event, a big one. I like the small ones too. Like Super Saturday is a one-day event. TSD is a one-day event. Go to those if you can. They're amazing. Like they're different. Vision's a multi-day event. There's thousands of people there. It's really awesome. But TST, it feels really intimate and it's just cool. The guys make you. I mean, it's real personal. Like the guys running the thing are like out and about, just talking the whole time. It's that they're stressed out about running an event, but you couldn't tell by talking to them. Same with TST. The fact that he has this year he's hoping for 600 or 700 technicians in one room.
700, yeah.
It's just different, and that's what I like about. I haven't been. This will be my first time knowing, but I know a little bit about it. I know that everybody's experience is the same because everybody's in one room and watching and participating in the same seminar, which I just think is cool. It's just different. So it's I'm going to try to just go to each one at least once, but I'm of course going to have some of my favorites. Vision is a big one for me for a lot of reasons, but I've been going so long and I've gotten to meet so many amazing people that go, that is their event. And so if I miss that, it's just, I miss my opportunity to spend time with them. I don't remember who said it. I think it was Nolan. You were talking, you're going to know these people for the rest of your lives. That is absolutely true. I can't miss Vision. It's an amazing event, but I can't miss it because there's so many people. That's their event, and I don't get to see them. So, one thing I want to say real quick before we kind of phase out of this, hopefully somebody else has any questions for the guys. But I've been thinking about doing some kind of project to kind of express why it's important for professionals in our trade to attend training and participate in stuff like this. And one of the biggest takeaways for me is just like, it's about happiness. You are in a position, you're working this every day. Why not make it a career? Why not be happy in what you do? Well, I mean, it just seems like a no-brainer, doesn't it? You can be, and it's a tough job, and sometimes you might not be in the right environment, but you don't know that. You're okay with that because you think it's the same everywhere. Going to events like this, you get to talk to people and you see not every place is a dungeon that's poor lit and they don't want to put, all they want to put is crap parts on it. So, I'll kind of leave you with that, but it's exciting to me. I'm just excited. So I'm really excited to be able to be involved with Trey, Andres, and Nolan. Really glad to meet you guys. You guys were a blast to hang out with. I do hope you attend Vision next year, but to me, I hope you attend events. But I know that you'll attend training. I hope you attend events, and I hope to see you at Vision. But super grateful to be able to meet you guys. I'm super thankful to be able to be a part of helping you guys get out there, and I look forward to knowing you guys forever and hearing about how amazing your careers are.
Word.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
I will say one last thing. I know I said that a second ago. George has got a very busy schedule, so I'm going to tell George, I wanted you here for this. If you have anything to say, we'd love to hear it. We would all benefit from your speaking, but at any moment you need to take off, we fully understand.
Yeah, I'm still at work, and Trey, you remind me of when I was like 18, 19 years old. I don't know how old you are, but listening to your story and your motivation really takes me back. And I really, because it's just a lot of fun. It's work. Every day that goes by, I think the value of the technician is going to go up as long as you invest in yourself. And like Bryn was saying there, you could live out in the middle of nowhere today, but you still know technicians all around the world to help you out, and they got your back. They're going to help you, and that's a pretty darn exciting thing. And key thing about this is getting out and rubbing elbows with folks, meeting them face to face. When you make life personal, and this is just in general, not just you, Trey, but you make it personal, then it just takes it up to a whole new level. And it's hard to do that if you don't go to these events. So it's like some of the guys have already said, it's not just about learning, it's about meeting people and making it personal. And just enjoy the devil out of it. Because just think, you look at the changes that Keith, that we have been through over all these years. Just think how things are going to change for the younger crew, like Trey right there. No telling what you're going to be living through. You might be working on drone-like vehicles. Who knows? But it's going to be exciting, and I hope you enjoy it. Yeah, that's anyway, you guys. Hey, I appreciate it, and congratulations on picking 3 great people for the scholarships. Full of enthusiasm, and we wanted to. So really I'd put the weight of it all on Jim. It's given us and me over the the things we've been able to do. So I'd really like to thank Jim, because when he called, he was so full of enthusiasm. As usual, we couldn't, we had to help him. We wanted to say thank you to him, I guess is the way to say it.
Oh.
So Nolan and Andres, did I say that right? Andres? Yeah. All right. That was my dad's name, so I should be able to say it good. And Trey, you guys, nice talking to you. Nice meeting you. And Brennan, thanks for the kind words, and thanks for letting me join in with you.
Absolutely.
And
Thank you, Jordan.
y'all have a good evening.
You too.
Thanks, guys.
Good night. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Man, what a nice guy.
Yeah.
Man, you guys are right about him. He's super nice.
Oh yeah.
And
he's
what
the
an
real deal.
amazing teacher
Yes.
in so many ways.
Super sharp, very, very genuine, he's so great for the industry. Fortunate to have him. I want to say, I was talking about trying to put something together that kind of explains like why we promote this stuff, training and events and networking and just shifting the mindset. So if you guys are watching, all I'd ask you is to, some of those others that don't seem to get it, just, I don't know, maybe send them the link, just ask them to watch some of it. And hopefully they, just paying attention or watching this for a few minutes, hopefully they understand what it's about, or at least get an idea. Maybe, you know what, next time event comes around, they're like, maybe I'll try that, so.
What are the next events coming up, guys? We got TST coming up this weekend. And Bren, you're having something in Florida, right?
Florida.
Yeah, TSD coming up this coming Saturday in Tarrytown, New York. I have Eric Ziegler and Scott Schotten coming down. They're teaching 2 different 4-hour seminars. Andres is going to be there. Thank you, sir, for your support. We need seats. We need people sitting in seats at that class.
Can you put up the PDF for that? Can you share the screen for that or no?
Well, let's see. Let me minimize
If
this.
so, anybody out there can screenshot it, and then they'll have a copy.
Yeah. Let me see. Oh, you know what? I'm not on the right computer.
Okay, well then anybody that wants to see it, you're welcome to go to my Facebook page later. I'll have it up.
It's on our website if you want to pull up our website, Brent.
Oh, it's the landing page, isn't it?
Yeah, front page.
I'll do that in just a minute. I'll talk briefly about it. Eric Ziegler is teaching a variable cam timing class, and Scott Schotten is teaching a turbocharged, or what I call forced induction, because I think the class most likely will apply to anything forced induction. It's a turbo drivability class with turbocharged applications. Both classes are going to be amazing. I think Scott Schotten taught the turbocharged charger class at Vision.
I actually took that. I thoroughly enjoyed that. I learned lots of stuff.
If you don't mind, I'll share the page.
Okay.
Right there.
There you go.
Richard Falco said something that I thought was pretty cool. He said, this event, if you're in Florida or anywhere near it, this is a little bit of Vision coming to you. So these guys are great, amazing trainers. They've been doing it for a long time, and they've been teaching at Vision for just every year for years. It will be a good time. I look forward to seeing y'all. So do just that, screenshot this, and hopefully we can get you guys registered and come with us. But after this, I know ASA is doing something more. They're doing their general conference and meetings at the Hearst Convention Center in Texas, near the Dallas-Fort Worth area. That is last part of April, first part of May. So like April 28th through May 2nd or something like that. Management classes, I think they are going to have an ADAS live car demo as well. So it'll be a great time for anybody which I think technicians could benefit from some management classes. I think the front end and management can benefit from seeing that what the stuff that we deal with as diagnostic technicians as well. So those two events that I can think of. Anybody think of anything else coming up? Pedro De La Torre and Matt Shanahan, I think, are doing something near the same time, maybe first week in April, up in Chicago, or no, it was Indiana, right?
Northwest Indiana.
Northwest Indiana. That, I believe, is on our website too, trainedbytex.com under
Yep.
the events tab.
Just below. It should be just below that, I believe.
David Friend with Mobile Tech is doing an ADAS 2-day hands-on ADAS class in Wilmington, North Carolina. I should say David Friend. It's Isaac Rodell. I was thinking of him as Rodiesel. Obviously, that's not right. But Isaac and David are putting that class on in Wilmington. I think it's the same weekend that I'm doing mine. So if you're on the fence, you should come to mine. But just know that one's there too. And then, of course, mid-September is the ASAPA Super Saturday event. Most of us, if not all of us, will be there. And if you're not there, we'll be extremely hurt about it and be mad, angry. So definitely be
very frustrated.
Yeah, don't get Bryn mad. I've seen it. It's not fun.
Bryn, you're teaching a class, right?
Oh, yeah. Keith Perkins is teaching. Is your class 8 hours, right?
Yeah, it's a full day. It'll be a full Saturday, so you got to waste a whole day with me. If that's your choice.
That's a done deal. I think that David Wagner is his burden is heavier this year for the event. So, but I believe he said that we're going to teach the Snap-on hands-on. It's a Snap-on scope hands-on class, some classroom presentation, but hopefully most of the day will be spent in the shop scoping cars. And then there's some others, right? I guess probably not wise to really announce some of the classes.
Well, it was announced on diag.net.
The schedule, the class lineup?
Well, no. The confirmed names as of listed by David Wagner are John Thornton is 100% confirmed. Ziegler, Scott Brown, myself. He put you on there, Bren.
Oh, okay.
And then there's another one. And the name escapes me. Oh, no, Chris Lewis. And then the other one is, I cannot remember the name now. I'm trying to pull it up now as I stall and talk.
Isn't Jim teaching?
I don't know that Jim's teach. I think David was saying that.
Oh, David's in the chat right now. He should chime in.
Yeah. Eric White.
Rick White.
Eric Ziegler, John Thornton, Scott Brown, Eric White, Chris Lewis, myself, and Brendan.
Are you sure
with more to come?
Or is it not Rick White? Because that's the management.
It's Rick White.
That's what I assumed, but he wrote Eric White,
okay.
so I'm going to say that's a typo.
Close enough.
Yeah,
it's in there.
Well, all those guys are rock stars. It's an amazing event. It's a one-day event. I think they've teased us. They're saying that at some point they think it's going to go 2-day, but these guys, this will be the third year I think that they're put it on, I believe, and they do an amazing job for a one-day event. There's probably more classes there than, there's a lot of classes.
Oh, it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah,
and like I said, they're very, very warm. They just it's a good feeling. Like it feels. It's a good event. It's a good event. It's a great event.
Wagner said it is Rick White.
Okay, that's what I can think of. I know that there's more. Of course.
Just to say, if anybody is attending any of these events, one of the things that makes all these events possible is the sponsors. And obviously we had George here from AES, and there's many other sponsors that are out there. But if you do get out to one of these events, go stop off, say hello, and keep those people in mind because they help us. They help the industry.
That's a great point. Thank you for bringing that up. Support the guys that support us. Go to the booths and talk to the guys that are helping to make these events happen. Absolutely, I agree.
That's all part of the networking. It's not just the person next to you. It's the other people that actually help to make that event happen.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. I think we did it.
All right. Well, very good. Anything else we need to talk about?
Any questions?
Has anybody been following? Has anybody been kind of chatting, asking anything?
Oh no, we're talking to an empty room, friend. Don't worry about it.
I've been following the chat and answering questions.
Okay.
They want to know what products you use in your hair.
Okay. I would like to say Dapper Dan because that's awesome.
Can you stop sharing your screen so we can see his hair?
Okay, hold on a second. Let me stop sharing my screen. All right. Can somebody
There we go.
Look at it. All right. Now I've seen this dude with bedhead, and he wakes up, and 5 minutes later he is polished. I am not kidding. It was insane.
I've been combing this bitch this way for like 5 years, so I better be good at it. My barber even gives me lessons once in a while. It's kind of funny.
You know what? I think there was one class that we all went to that we all forgot to mention was Brandon's class, and that it was an awesome class.
Oh, right.
Brandon, he had a lot of talk. Yep. I sat in on probably the last hour, I guess, and it was great. I don't know. Hopefully he doesn't take it wrong, but not that he wasn't good, but I saw him early in his career, and he's become so good at what he does.
He's a rock star.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah, you got guys a natural. It's a crazy. I've even he's photogenic too. I've tried taking a bad picture of him. That dude does not take a bad picture. I've tried sneaking up on him with selfies, and I'm the one who looks ugly. Which not much.
I mean, the dude's just such a good person, like good people. Like, I don't know. It's hard. I would imagine it is hard to take a bad picture. It's just the goodness kind of out. But the work that he's done with pressure signature analysis, like in my opinion, he's done more than maybe Bernie's done more. I don't know. Like Brandon has spent probably 10 years studying and practicing this and saving captures and building material.
Wow.
Where a lot of people have, but I don't think most have done it to his level. Like most.
He knows how to relate it. He knows how to relate it to the person that's out there working on the car.
Yeah. But he does, but also like he's done more like with exhaust pressure. He's done more with exhaust pressure than anybody else in the industry. So, anyway.
Right. So off that subject, did anybody get anything good from any of the vendors while they were out at the at Vision?
I did.
I finally got the AS Wave back probe, and I bought my first AS Wave branded amp clamp.
I got fatter eating all that candy.
Well, I legit gained 6 pounds over Vision.
Wow.
It was bad.
Yeah. Well, that Q39 barbecue place, man.
Oh God.
Stop. That's messed up. I was too sick to go.
That and Top Golf. That was a little much.
Top Golf was cool. Q39 though, if nothing, guys, if nothing else attracts you to attend this event, the Q39 barbecue joint there nearby is unbelievable.
So guys, if you got like $1,500 to blow, and you want to find some great barbecue, go to Kansas City. Go stay at the Sheridan, and go get some Q39.
Well, something to consider. I appreciate where George was coming from. When it comes to training, like and investing into training, I generally, when I talk to people, I talk to them two different people. I talk to technicians. I have the George Minshew frame, my state of mind. Basically, when I talk to technicians, it's you need to, if your shop won't invest in you, you need to either find somebody that will or invest in yourself because it is your career. But when I talk to shop owners, I obviously try to encourage them to invest in their team, which if we do, at some point we will have this project done, and Bill Haas did a short video for us at Vision, and it was what he had to say about it was amazing. So, but if you're at a shop and maybe you're assuming that they won't pay for this stuff. I've met several technicians that made that same assumption, and something just happened and they decided I'm going to ask, and they found out that their shop was willing to do a lot more than they expected. So hopefully, I know at my shop, we're not a hugely successful. We do okay, but I try to send everybody on my team to at least one national training event a year. But maybe that won't be the case. Maybe your shop will pay for the event and you pay for the hotel and maybe the airfare or something like that. So just don't make an assumption that they won't invest in you. Ask. You're never going to know unless you ask.
I have a small shop as well, and I think it was one of my highlights of my career was being able to take my lead guy to his first training event, and I think he took a lot from it. It was a great investment. I'll say that.
Nice. Yeah. I forgot about that. First time we met, Will, right?
Mm-hmm.
Great guy.
Cool guy.
Thanks, man. Yeah, he is.
Sweet. All right. Are we going to let everybody go or what?
Let's go for another 6 hours. Come on.
I will shut the stream off. So.
Okay. Well,
All right.
Who's going to say goodnight? Keith, you're always good at saying goodnight. There you go.
Everybody, thanks for coming. We got say it again, Brandon. What's his name?
Andres.
Oh, Jesus.
Andres.
Nolan, do you say your name in a special way? Do you roll your L's? I don't know.
No.
And Trey, you got like a weird hyphen in your name or something like that we could put in there?
You have to say like
that's a cool one.
say like an angry Filipino grandma.
Wait. Hold on. Say the last name, Trey.
My name's William, but I've been going by Trey for a million years. If you want to spice it up there, you can overpronounce that somehow.
But the last name, how do you pronounce your last name? How do you pronounce it?
Gravelly, but I'm sure you can find a way to have fun with that as well.
Can we pronounce it bishop or something weird? It's some weird pronunciation.
I mean, people are going to assume it's Gravely, and they're going to
they do.
They're going to call him the Gravy King the rest of his career.
There you go, Trey Gravy King. There you go.
The tractor company. What's the tractor company? Gravely with the Y. That's what they always think I am.
Well, you're rich. That's what it is.
Nolan, I will say that one of your Facebook posts with the switched faces is the creepiest.
Yeah,
it's the creepiest.
That freaked me out. Like, oh my God, what's wrong with him?
That was my greatest face swap ever. None of them ever compared.
You had your grandpa or your father? Was it your grandpa?
That was my dad. That was my dad and my son.
Your dad and your son's face mixed that swap. That was great. At first, I was like, God damn, there's something wrong with him. What the hell?
All right, we're going off on a tangent. Everybody, good night.
Thank you guys for coming. And tell everybody.
Have a great night.
Tell people that don't
Thanks
believe in
again,
training.
everyone.
Yep. Bye-bye.
Thank you guys.